Hi everyone, how are you? It's me, it's really me. I've been away for almost 2 weeks. I took a much needed, long overdue vacation. I've never taken a vacation for this long with my husband, who I've been with for 23 years, and I don't think I've ever taken a vacation this long myself in all my 51 years. And my husband and I make a we don't do gifts on our anniversaries. We do like an idea, a dedication, something, and this year's idea to work on our relationship was to be very present. That when we were talking to each other, to not have anything else on our mind, to not be, on the phone half listening, that if we were in the middle of something, it'd be like, okay, I'm going to be done with this in 2 minutes, or let me finish this and then I'll be with you. And so that was the theme of our vacation, is to be very present. And, I brought my laptop and I did the one quick little film with the bee at the Irish fair because it was just too cute. But other than that, I stayed away from my channel. He stayed away from work. The kids are amazingly independent. The house was freakishly clean when we got home, so we don't know what all went on, but at least they cleaned up. And my 19-year-old, who, I tell you guys about, because he can't quite drive. We're trying to figure out how to make that happen, because he can't drive. He had a stroke during not during birth, right before he was born, which is why he was born. He's a twin, and they're monitoring the twins, and he wasn't answering, and he was having a stroke. So he has weakness in his whole left side, but he doesn't know any different because he was born that way. So he doesn't feel like, oh, I wish I could still do this. It's that he has never been able to. So driving is really tough, but made some decisions. I'll talk to you about that. So he entirely mowed the lawn and found a wasp's nest and independently found what to do to, found the right stuff, walked up to the hardware store to get it, and, killed the, it was a wasp's nest in the ground. Killed it, continued mowing the lawn. So he's extremely, extremely capable, extremely smart. Well, he is 19, the twins are 19, and then the next oldest brother is 20, and they're all in college, so they're all still home because that was my dream. I feel like my oldest kids, got out of the nest too soon and wanted to be out and start paying for things, as me and my husband did, when we were young. And I want this batch of children to know that they don't need to live outside of the home. They can stay home and go to college so they can get their future, their careers, and everything under their feet. And I try to let them have the independence, and we never once together left them alone overnight until they were the youngest, till the twins were 18 and a half. And then we went out of town for one night, and I was so freaked out, and then 2 nights. So it's the longest we've ever been away from my 3 youngest kids. Longest I've ever been away from my cats. Just everything. Just really, really, really well-deserved vacation. And I thank all of you who continued to interact on my channel. I hope that you guys took the time to look back on some of my old video series. And if you're new, I hope that you kind of looked around and got acquainted. And I know what those of you who have been with me from day one know. And I hope that the newbies know and can see that what has happened in my channel is simply amazing. That this is a group of people that gets along so well that I have don't think I've ever had a comment thread where people have been at each other or snarked or anything. Um, I have an equal opportunity channel that you can say anything you want once, and if it's something that's insulting to somebody else, or me, then I delete and block you from the channel. So just makes the other person go and get, just makes them go and get a new channel, but they'll do it again. But after a couple of times, they really don't. But what I found here is that, I've had my channel for over a year. I've not needed a mod. I don't do lives often, as you guys know, but because it's hard for me to find time when I am alone and not needed around the house, because I'm a housewife and a mom, and trying to find time where I can dedicate without being interrupted doesn't usually happen until after maybe 1 a.m. And then even then you hear the kids come in and ask me a question or whatever, because I'm always accessible. I've always made myself accessible to the kids, but I didn't start my channel until they were 18, so I could always say that, I didn't take time away from the internet for them. That was important. And then at the risk of, because what happens when you start a channel is that you put your family at risk for when you get doxxed. And it's a very sad thing that happens, because then your children are fair game that they see. So I had to make sure that they were over 18, and then there would be less things that they could do to me. But I know it's going to happen. I know that I will be doxxed, and then, like I say, we'll just have to have some more conversations. I'll have to explain more to you guys about who I am, where I came from, my past, and all that good stuff. But I did get a very good blast from my past, which led into all of this, is I got a check I was not expecting from the United States government. So when you get a United States government thing, you're going, oh, what is this? It was actually a check from some of the restitution that I'm ordered of the 8 people that I put in prison. And I assume that one of them is working enough that they paid taxes in and had a income tax refund that came to me, because they still had the the judgments in place for restitution to me. I got that check about 3 weeks ago. And you all know, I'm honest with you guys, we live very, very tight, very paycheck to paycheck. My husband is a disabled vet and works very hard for the government, and it is my duty as a stay-at-home mom now to make his money go as far as it possibly can. And I make the money that I can by scrounging around at the Goodwill, as y'all know, and selling that online, and trying to make money on my channel. So, got that check. Wasn't expecting it. And Hubs, because he works hard, has been getting a lot of pressure because he has too much leave on the books, and they need to, he has some leave that's use it or lose it, because it was from COVID. So together, we looked at things and we're like, oh, can we do this? Can we do this? And we did, because the other piece came into play. I guess 4 months ago, my Durango was my 3rd Durango in a row. I love Durangos, but I think they are, next to what I bought, the safest SUV on the market. I absolutely owe my life to my Durango. I love my Durango, but the engine blew up in May. Oh, the whole transmission went out. So it sounded like a low-flying airplane, was in 1 gear, and I nursed it home for its final drive, actually from Wisconsin, then in May when it blew up. And was getting the estimates, and there's no way. There's no way I could do that. There's no way I could afford to fix it. It's a huge fix, and it had, I think, 140,000 miles on it, so I wasn't sure what to do. Still owed some on it. But what was really hurting us in our budget is gas. And we weren't able to really go anywhere. Whenever I would take my son somewhere, because my son, who has cerebral palsy, he just loves going everywhere that I can take him, to all 10,000 of the lakes and 20,000 ponds around the state that I can find. And he goes in and out of them, collects what he needs in and out of them, studies everything that he can, and loves going to all the greenhouses. And as you saw, he got me all hooked on the greenhouse stuff now too. So I'm growing some flowers and growing my garden thanks to all of you. So whenever, even I took him to like a greenhouse in the next city over, hop onto the highway for 10 minutes, whatever. From the time I left home, got a little gas, to going there, to then needing gas when I got home in the family van, I needed gas again. That was $21. So whenever I left the house, it was $21 at least. 25 if I did anything else. The gas was just too much, and in order for me to fill up the gas, I was having to overdraw my bank account, each week, so then paying the overdraft fee. But that's the way to get gas. And Hubs doesn't have to go into the office except for once a week now. Everything is all online for him, thanks to COVID. COVID gave and take. It took half my memories and gave me long COVID, as you all know. But there are some good things that came out of it, that he doesn't have to commute every day. So there was a used Tesla on the car lot, and by trading in our old van and my broken Durango, I was able to get the used Tesla. So, because I figure that's going to enable my son to be more comfortable to start learning how to drive, because it has the full self-driving, which is only good on long term on the highway, which I found out. But it has driver assist. It's the safest vehicle that you can buy. So we did that as our family thing. And so this all came together with the culmination of the windfall check I wasn't expecting, him needing to take some leave, and looking at it online, and him using some points that he had, for hotels and stuff from business travel and everything. And we were able to just do this and take, left the Friday before last and came home yesterday. So what? That's a full 8 days, really. A full 8 to 9 days, for the Hubs, because he's off on the weekends. So just that time to just be so relaxed and get to know each other was just simply amazing. And we only had to charge the Tesla, I think, 4 times total. And those are generally between $15 and $21. So to go where we went, because we went down through Iowa, back up through Wisconsin, and then in Wisconsin, and then back down through Iowa, and then back home to Minnesota, middle of the state, Minnesota. So we figure it was like less than $80 in charges. So you think about how much gas had to be. It would have been probably $500 or $600 in gas, easy. And what do you have to show for it? You have nothing. And the Tesla is really fun to drive. It's It's 2 years old, but it was taken really good care of by its former owner, and it came with the charger hookup and everything. So that's really nice. Um, it's so cool because it tells you, like, you put in where you're going, and then it tells you when you need to charge. If you can get to that destination without charging, it'll tell you. Otherwise, it'll say, which in some of these rural areas, it's kind of scary because there's only like one charger between here and North Dakota. And so we found out the hard way when we went to North Dakota the first weekend we got it, that it informed us that we were going to run out of charge before there was a charger. Oh, what does that mean? And that was literally the first day we got it. We were like, let's just drive. Let's go over, spend overnight in North Dakota. So I had to Google what to do, and Google didn't know what to do. And it was a big old storm. This was, last month when we got it. And it said that there was a universal charger off in a city coming up. So we got to it, but it wasn't for a Tesla, so it didn't have the adapter that you need. So we had the plug-in, but no adapter, so we couldn't charge. So we had to slither around the city trying to find a building with an outside plug-in that wasn't busy. And we finally found a public library, and it had a plug-in on the outside. And I run up to it. I'm like, this is going to save us because we can plug into this and get a little charge to get us to where we need to be. And you know what? There was a big motherfucking spider in there. And so I was like, you know what? Screw it. I don't know what to do. I'm just going to sit here and cry because there's a big spider in there and I'm not going to do it. And my husband was like, what is the matter? Why didn't you plug it in? I'm like, big motherfucking spider in there. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. There's a big spider. And he's like, oh my God, you and spiders. Oh my God. So he went to do it. And I'm like, well, how'd it feel? I'm sure that spider bit you. He's like, it did not. And he had pieces of web on his hand. I'm like, bleh. But so we were able to plug it in, and then for whatever reason, after 15 minutes, there was no more power. So I don't know if the public library cuts you off from from power. I don't know if this is happening a lot. But anyway, that was enough to get us up to where we could and get to a charger. So I'm sure in LA or, the West Coast, this isn't a problem. I'm sure there's chargers all over. But in the Midwest, there's still very few. But it's great because we've not had to put in a charger on our wall or anything. We can just plug it in overnight, into a regular plug-in. It doesn't need a 220 or anything like that. So it's been really fun. And ours didn't get fixed, so it still has the function on it where it can fart. The Tesla made a big fart sound to warn pedestrians that it was coming. But apparently they found that it was more dangerous than honking. People didn't appreciate the Tesla farting. But the first day I found it, I was overwhelmed with excitement and sat there outside the Quick Trip and made it fart at people for 40 minutes. It's cheap entertainment. It's amazing. So I looked it up, and it's supposed to be something that was a software fix that took it away, but it didn't take it away in mine. And so I found a way where I can make it fart. Is you can set it up on the you can set it up on the driver profile, so when you turn on the turn signal, it farts. So my husband doesn't, I'm talking low because my husband doesn't know how I figured it out. So each time he'd get out of the car, I'd set up his profile and set it up so when he'd turn on the turn signal, Tesla'd fart. And they're very realistic farts too. Real realistic. I love it. So I have the farting Tesla, and I love it. And the windfall money was just enough to get us everywhere we wanted to go. So we had so much fun. I just paused because I thought that I heard sirens, but it's Ma Kisses doing her caterwauling. She's screaming. Well, look at these teas that I got. I got these at the fair. I'll tell you guys all about that too. I went to the Wisconsin State Fair. My husband is from Wisconsin originally, so he used to go there through FFA and show pigs and his neighbors' pigs and stuff like that. So I had always wanted to go back and have him show me around the fair of his people. And he didn't really know a lot because he was a kid and didn't have money. So when I'm going around, I'm going, did you do this? He's like, no, we didn't have money. So I'm like, what? What did you do? Well, we stayed in the pig area and we just groomed the troughs, and then, we slept in the neighbor's trailer. I'm like, what? Well, I'm sipping on this right now. This True Honey Tea, lavender lemonade. I got it in peach rubios as well. So good because it's naturally sweetened with honey. It has honey crystals in it. It's got 24 in them. And let me see here. So, you know how the fair is, and they have their booths, and they have the people, out trying to sell you everything. But this was an easy sell to me because, I love my teas. And this is caffeine free. It's from Virginia. And so it says, if you want it stronger, just steep longer. Our high quality tea leaves won't get bitter. Isn't that nice? So I put 2 tea bags in my, I don't remember what we figured this is. Was this a 14 or 16? My trusty Starbucks, one that I love so much, from 2004. 2004, what is this one? Oh, I don't know. Maybe this one is a 12 ounce. Maybe this is a 12 ounce. But it's so good. So it's at www.truehoneyteas.com. So it's got lemon, hibiscus, lavender, and honey granules, all organic, and cane sugar and honey. And it's got no fat. Doesn't have much of anything. Just some sugars. So that's good because the tea that I love from Quick Trip, it's blackberry lemonade. And it's about 1,000 calories for my 64 ouncer. So I water it down and ice it down to spread it over at least 24 to 30 hours since I'm working on some weight loss goals. So, and on that note, since May 15th, I have worked out 90 times. And I've lost a whole 6 pounds. Pisses me off. I lost 4 inches everywhere, across the board, every measurement. Of the bust of the gut and the hips. I've lost 4 inches, so I'm down literally like 4 dress sizes and 4 jean sizes. It really does go by inches for bra sizes. But only 6 pounds. Pisses me off. My doctor, I don't know if I told you guys this, but my doctor did prescribe me Wegovy because I was able to prove to him, because everything is all electronic with my workouts, with the program I'm doing. I've already talked about it, but if you guys want me to talk about it again, I will. But it's through this program called Supernatural with the Oculus. And so everything is all digital, all in virtual reality, all scored. I reached the level where my husband is, and he, had been working out for 6 months, and, he is down over 50 pounds. And like right where, about in the same time frame, he was already down 20 pounds where I'm only at 6. So I can show that, my duration is up. I have the endurance of 45 minutes now at a high level of working out, and my body just won't release the weight. So my doctor prescribed Wegovy, and they are on a factory backup until at least September. So although I have it prescribed, I can't get it. From all that I've read online, and if you guys have taken it too, please let me know in the comments as well what you think of it, because most people say they can't tolerate it because it's like giving you freaking dysentery, that you lose the weight from having the rampant shits from hell and the nausea. So I don't think it'll work for me, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to be open-minded enough to try to see if it kickstarts my body into losing some weight, because obviously my body just wants to hold on to my maternal fat stores because it doesn't know. I mean, having 6 kids over almost 14 years, it doesn't know when it's ready because, I thought I was done how many times? How many times did I tell my body we're done? And then, nope, just one more, just one more. And then my body was like, well, why don't we just do twins and you're going to pull this shit one kid every so often? You know what I mean? So, drinking the tea as I spill the tea. You know how that goes. So, what do we do? What do we do? We went to the Irish Fair. I did my 23andMe, and I knew that I was Italian as heck, but I found out that I'm more Irish than I am Italian. So, Hubbers is a Navy vet, and they have free admission to the Irish Fair for veterans, and I think it's veterans and active duty, down at the Irish Fair in Iowa. So we're like, why don't we start out down there? I'll find more of my ancestral roots and we'll check it out. My DNA is so strong to the Irish blood that it points out that I am from County Donegal, which is up at the top. And so I'm Irish, British, and Italian mostly. But we all go back to the same. We all go back to, well, my maternal haplogroup proves that, I come from Africa, as everybody does. I think they're going to prove that every single human, comes back to Africa, it was all on one continent at once. So, County Donegal is where a lot of where the British came over, and then it was British, Irish, and Irish. So that's where we can really trace a lot of my DNA from. So we went down to the Fair of my people. Okay, so here's this little prop right here, talking about the Irish Fair. The reason why the Irish Fair is so militarily friendly is because of the Sullivans. What are the Sullivans? Well, have you seen Saving Private Ryan? The movie Saving Private Ryan is based on a rule that happened in part because of what happened to the Fighting Sullivan Brothers and other brothers that were involved in what happened back then when we just could not talk things out and we had to go to war. Now we don't need to go to war. We don't need to be doing the terrible things we do. We need to be talking things out. But back then they couldn't because the communication was not there. So, if you don't know who the Sullivans are, let me impart you with this knowledge. The Sullivans were a group of brothers. There were 5 of them. They had one sister. Their family had settled in Iowa. A couple of the older brothers had been in the Navy, military, back and forth, and their sister had an amazing fiance that they loved. So all 5 brothers loved the fiance that was going to marry their sister. So the mom had 5 boys and 1 girl. Same as me. Well, the daughter's fiance was killed. And the Fighting Sullivan brothers said, oh, hell no, hell no, hell no. We are going to join the Navy to avenge our brother-in-law's death. I think her name was Annie. I can't remember right now. I want to say Annie Sullivan, but that's because I'm thinking of Helen Keller, and I don't think it's the same Annie Sullivan. because I couldn't find out all of this history that was there until I looked it up on Wikipedia. So I'm kind of going by what I remember because I wanted to look this all up. Because, well, it said this and that about the Sullivans, it didn't tell me the history. So I'm telling you guys the history. Okay? So here we are. And the Fighting Sullivan Brothers went, and they went all in the Navy. They all signed up with the condition that they were all on the same ship. They would all go together. So the oldest to the youngest all went. They went on the USS Sullivan. Okay. No, it was not called the USS Sullivan then, because those are the ships that were dedicated to them. Maybe I need some more of my tea. I can't remember right now. Were they on the Juno? Maybe they were on the Juno, the USS Juno, because they had the Lego ships displayed. I want to say they were on the Juno. I'll have to look everything back up and write it down. So anyway, the unthinkable happened. And what I found out, the way that history wants you to think, is that all 5 brothers were killed instantly in one bombing, one raid. But as history finds out, they didn't die instantly, and they could have been saved. Their ship, all of the ships in the area had been hit, so I think the Juno had been hit earlier in the day. And while it was wounded, the ship was wounded, she still went into port. And they were going in because they thought they were safe. And then they got bombed again. And they figured that everybody on that ship had to have been dead. So they left to go and get more backup to come back, because they didn't figure anybody survived. But as I was reading, it does sound like perhaps 3 of the brothers were killed instantly and the other 2 held on until the next day. So if backup would have came, or if somebody would have went right back, they could have been saved. But who's to say that then they wouldn't have gotten bombed again? Sounds like the youngest one is the one that stayed alive the longest. Kind of thinking more of like the Titanic, like where they're kind of holding on in the bay. Well, the youngest left behind a wife and a baby boy, is it? And then I think the baby boy went into the military, and their grandmother christened the first ship. And then the son, so the grandson, had a daughter, and I think the granddaughter of the Sullivan then christened the next ship. So I think it went grandma to granddaughter. But it's all based on the Sullivans and their massive sacrifice to our country. It's just humbling to think of that. So they want to really give back. So if you're in the area or you have a way to go down to the Iowa Irish Fest and check out the Lego displays of the Sullivan. And they have the high-ranking officials from the ship, from the Sullivans, come and pay a visit. And so you can talk to them. There are all kinds of tributes to the Sullivans. They have a military Jeep display that was kind of neat. And they have the Chicago Fire Department bagpipe group that came through. And they have buses from the hotels to take you there. So it was really cool to check it out. And they have all kinds of stuff to learn about if you have Irish blood, to check it all out. And these are all of the activities that they have for each day. If you drink, it's really good. We don't drink, really. So it was not as probably fun for us as it is for people who drink, because they have pub crawls. Everything is about the whiskey that's made, Irish whiskey. They have had a really good latte that had, here I say I don't drink, and then I tell you that, oh, I had a shot of, oh, I can't remember what kind of an adult beverage it had in it. But it was very good. I'm going to tell you that. So that's about the Iowa Irish Fest I wanted to tell you all about. They have pub crawls, they have axe throwing, all kinds of stuff, and little flags. So I can do that. The heroes area is the area where they do all of the things for the military. So if you are a veteran, if you are active duty, of course, thank you for your service. And check out the area and go there to show your military support. And everybody should show their military support for the Sullivans. There were other groups of brothers that had great loss as well. And then it had a lot of things for the kids. They had huge blow-up toys where the kids could just go and hang out. And they had some Irish dancing, not a lot. I really love Irish dancing and Celtic music. I love Celtic Woman, the group. And so I would have liked to have seen more dancing than I did. I just kind of saw the ones that had lessons and then came on the stage, and they weren't really into it. You have to be into it for me to really appreciate the show. But they had the Dogs of Ireland. So there's very big dogs, and what are they even called? They're Irish wolfhounds, and they worked great to sheep herding. And they had a Humane Society booth there because they had some Irish setters. They hoped that people would adopt. And there was this cutest dog that had one eye. He was so cute. Missing his one eye, he didn't bother him at all. And I hope he got adopted because they were having a special. And it was like, to adopt a dog was like $50 and a cat $10. There was no way that the Hubbers would let me get one more cat. And they didn't have any cats there, so you'd have to go to their facility and do that. And Eric wouldn't, hubby would not let me do that. So anyway, we went to the Fair of the Hubs people. And these are the things that won the contests. And so we wanted to try some of them. And I don't know, I'm not that impressed. Okay, the beer cheese Wisconsin lava cakes. They were just pretzels that had like some cheese in it with like jalapenos and some weird syrup thing. I was not impressed with it. And let's see, I didn't do anything else there. These things looked good. I wanted to do the cotton candy lemonade, but instead I just got a 64-ouncer of real lemonade. I mean, and when you look at these things where they have the lemonade, it's just really, they cut up lemons, they put sugar and water. That's it. Like, why can't I do that myself? I can. So anyway, I just got a big jug of that and then didn't get any other drinks per se. But these funnel cake fries looked good and stuff. But just trying to get your way around and find where anything is really, really difficult. And the crowds were really, really intense, if you will. So we went to the fair. Okay, so we went to the fair the first night, so that was Wednesday night, and we saw Lizzie Hale. And I don't know if you guys know who Lizzie Hale of Hailstorm is, but she's freaking awesome. And if you can ever see her, go and see her. She's so cool. And she went to the Brewers game the night before in Wisconsin, so she did half of her show in a Brewers jersey, which was so cool. And if you know her and you know the band, you'll understand why this is funny. They were given a cheese head, one of those big foam cheese heads, and one of them had a stick of dynamite in the tour bus. And so they were like, well, why not? So, yeah, a stick of dynamite and the cheese head, yeah, they had fun. They blew up a cheesehead because that's what they do. But she's just freaking incredible. And she had an opener for her called a band called New Year's Day. And they did a good job too, but you could tell that maybe her backtracks were recorded because she was lip syncing a little bit. Now, because I go to a lot of concerts, I've told you guys how we do those before. We don't pay for most of the concerts we go to. And I was putting up a lot of the excerpts from the concerts because I thought I wanted to share my experiences with you. And I would put, the concert, the artist, the song, of course, giving them all credit, and everything was fine. I would get, copyrighted, but it would say that it was not a strike against me or anything like that, that it's just that it's the artist, and most of the time it would say that there was a shared income. So the artist would take a part of the money from AdSense, which was great. I thought that's great because then, okay, you're seeing that on my thing. That's cool. Well, then I put up the concert of Joan Jett and Bryan Adams. Put up several songs of Joan Jett, same thing, say this is this song, this is by the artist, and not often did I do the whole song. It was often just excerpts of the song and whatnot, but always putting the song, tagging the artist, everything. Well, then I uploaded Bryan Adams, and what do you know, my videos were taken down, and I received a strike against my channel, and as a copyright strike. And I'm afraid of my channel getting taken down further. So with one strike that I don't really understand why it would be a strike, I'm not going to load up or put anything about concerts anymore because I don't know when I'm going to get a strike. I don't get it. I am really confused on it. I don't understand why you can, because some artists tell you to tag them, put it up, everything. And that's the way I started because they said, tag this, tag this. I don't understand why I would get a strike. So anyway, I can't put that content up, but I will still tell you guys about it. And Stevie Nicks was freaking incredible. Went to Stevie Nicks the night before we went to Hailstorm. And Stevie Nicks is 75 years old out there putting on the best performance. She remembers every word of every song. She has little dances for each, little poses for each, like on the album cover. And she has these strings and rhinestones and ribbons and stuff all hanging down from her microphone stand. And she just plays with those as she sings. Just so cool, so gypsy-like. And when she did the gypsy, she said that, she came up in a band they came up as a bunch of kids who didn't have enough money to claim taxes to make enough money that they had to hire attorneys to figure out how to do the taxes. But she said that she would still go at night and pray to God and say she's still Stevie and she's still got that gypsy heart, that she's still Stevie. And I love that. She did so good. And I was in the bathroom before the concert. And I heard some woman making some kind of weird noises. I'm going, oh, shit, what's this, right? She's like, okay, what's going on, right? Well, I go out and wash my hands. And it's a lady, and she's walking back and forth, her makeup smeared all over, and she's dramatically crying. Somebody takes the bait, right? Says, what's wrong? Oh, she goes into it. She starts going, I've waited 23 years to see Stevie Nicks. We're like, yeah, good. And now it can never, ever happen again. She's gonna die. Oh, God. We're all like, well, you know what? You're here now. How about if you just have fun? No, because now I'll never, ever, ever, ever get to see her again. I was like, oh my God. So I was just like, wash my hands and get the hell out of the bathroom. So anyway, seeing Stevie Nicks one night, and then hailstorm the next. It was just so great. And the fair, the first night was just kind of getting in there, getting acquainted, kind of seeing what things were. And then the next day we spent the whole day at the Wisconsin State Fair. And I really was impressed with the Percheron horses. They're really big, 19 feet high, as they say. And I think I've shared with you guys that I go into anaphylactic shock from horses. And normally from going through the area where the animals are in the fair bothers me as it is. But I really medicated with my Claritin and Zyrtec and everything. And I shared with you guys that the last time I had anaphylactic shock and ended up in the ICU, they had to give me a series of shots over the next month that were $6,000 a piece. They weren't approved by the FDA yet, but my allergist felt that my chances of dying were so high from the anaphylaxis because I was going into anaphylaxis from my body getting hot at all. So a fever, a building being too hot, me getting too hot from exercise would kill me. My body was metabolizing heat as a histamine, so it was technically that I was allergic to exercise, heat in general. Couldn't have a bath too hot. So they were able to prove the case that I needed this experimental drug because I was going to die. And that drug really helped me. So I was able to be by the horses and not react. But the horses wanted pets from me, so I'd have my hubs. Like, Hubbers, you need to pet this horse because it wants me to pet it, but I can't. And he would pet them, and I mean, they were just incredible. If you guys know what Percheron horses are, they were bred for war horses, but they're so willing to work that they became more work horses because they're very docile. So they are about 2,600 pounds. They were beautiful, and then went to the cows, and I didn't know that they weren't taking them home. One of the farmers said that, she did good, got a good price, and Sunday's going to be a tough day for her, and I still didn't understand. Then I understood. And I think I'm going to be committed to being a vegetarian again for, probably 10 days. I don't eat a lot of meat as it is. I just want to make sure that doesn't happen on my behalf, if you will. Okay? I understand it. I understand it's a process, but I went with no beef for, I think, 2 years when I first found that out and did well, and it's just too sad for me. So I liked looking at the horses. And look at this dill pickle donut. Okay, there was a dill pickle pizza. There was a dill pickle drink. All kinds of stuff for. Look at my fingernails. I still have them done for the Irish Fair. I put them on first day I was gone, so they've been on for 10 days. They're starting to peel, but they were perfect for the Irish Fair. So there were all these things I was dedicated to trying, and then I just really didn't. They have a whole place dedicated for cream puffs. This whole place that makes the cream puffs. And we got a 6-pack of cream puffs to go. And they actually have that where at the edge of the fair you can pick them up. So you can pay for them and then you have a ticket or whatever. You can pick them up or you can order them and get them on your way out. Their holder to hold them did not do any good, so they still got all mushed together. They need to do better with that, have better holders. But they have, so it's kind of like their little dairy area. Derriere. Not a derriere, a dairy lane. Fries, Italian sausage. The Italian sausage I did try was really good. And the grilled cheese, and I didn't do the grilled cheese. I wanted to so bad, but I was getting really full. I really liked the corn. The corn was so fresh, and they had it where you could have a corn on the cob or corn in the cup, and I got a cup each time because I'm not going to go down on a freaking corn cob in front of anybody else. So I appreciated the corn in the cup, and I think I ended up having that at 3 different places. So good. The sweet corn was just so good. So the thing I really wanted to try was like this lobster sandwich, and it was not great. Let me see. Oh yes, the corn roast. That's amazing. Like the corn was amazing. The Italian sausage was good. So let me know if you guys have went to this fair as well. Hubs did get a gyro, a gyro or whatever. And let's see what else. Okay, so that's there. That prop can go. I have all my props here for you to catch you guys all up on everything. Let's see what else. Oh my! You guys can see my other props. You know where I'm going with all of this. You're going, oh, I know what's next. I know what's next. Okay, so then this is more from the fair. So it just tells you, I mean, can you tell it's really all about the food? So I found at Slim McGinn's Irish Pub, they had a drink that had nitro coffee, a scoop of the fresh ice cream, and something else. I can't remember what was in it. And it was so good. Oh, because they've got a s'mores one. Sea salt caramel toffee bubble waffles. I did not find those. Okay, let's see. Just look at all this stuff. Ooh, the strawberry lemonade jubilee. I should have found that. Oh, vegan brats. Maybe I should have done that. Oh, I forgot. Probably the sausage had beef in it. Maybe you don't ask what's in sausage. Just don't ever do that. So this has a whole vegan stuff. A bunch of vegan stuff. I didn't even see this one. Vegan lemonade. So I know there's a difference between vegan and vegetarian. But what would ever be in lemonade that would not be vegan? Huh. I wonder if something in the sugar would not be considered vegan always. But I mean, they pretty much, look at how they do this west of the original Cream Puff Pavilion. Everything is pretty much, around the Cream Puff Pavilion. So it was kind of cool to have this whole thing of where to find stuff. It made it easier. But still, you just got the crowds. They had a lot of police presence, which I really appreciated because there's been too much going on at the fairs where people are not safe. And this group that was in front of us, they're like, oh yeah, thanks guys to the cops. And then right after they were like, oh yeah, for keeping us safe. Oh yeah, what's going to happen at the fair? Yeah, a bunch of idiots. You know what? They're the ones who are going to put themselves in front of you in a bullet. They're the ones who are going to stop whatever is going to happen. Because they had a thing at right in the front so you can't bring in bags that are a certain size. They go through your bags. They're all metal detectors. And then you can't wear a face gaiter, so those kinds that go up over your neck and everything. So I assume that it's because, if something goes on, they want to be able to identify. But there were a lot of police, and I really appreciated it. And on that note, here in Minnesota, we're having a lot of problems because of the gang warfare. And people need to start paying attention because if they don't, we're going to have a real problem. So, let's see, last Thursday, there was a robbery, and the Brooklyn Park police attempted to apprehend the suspects. That led them on a high-speed chase. The high-speed chase had to be stopped because public safety is of paramount importance. So the next day, an officer thought that he saw the vehicle that was wanted from that high-speed chase. And he was in what is described as a very non-traditional squad car, unmarked. And he was radioing for backup, but he was following the car believed to be the one that got away the day before. And they went over kind of in an, they're saying it's kind of like a curve and a kind of a bluff. And the officer in his squad car was ambushed. The individuals in that car unleashed with a machine gun, an automatic rifle. And I believe that they said at least 6 hit the squad car, and it must be the other 8 got in and shot the officer in. It looks like, from what I can tell in the news report, it looks like it got him like right in the shoulder blade near his neck. By the grace of God, he was able to continue driving and telling his partners and backup that he'd been shot. So he drove approximately a mile, where another officer got him, pulled him out of the car, and raced him to the nearest hospital. And he was released, it says, in like about 4 hours. So as many officers as they could around the state came and clapped for him as he got to walk out with his wife to their vehicle. And I am so glad that that officer could walk out. They're being kind of quiet with his name. They have mentioned the officer's name in one article, but the other, the chief of police, did not. They figure he was in shock, and he's going to have some problems with PTSD from being ambushed with a machine gun alone. But thank God he's all right. This is our world right now. If we don't watch it, we're going to be Sinaloa, Mexico, because that's why so many people immigrated from Mexico. It's because this is the kind of shit that was happening in their streets. This is now in the Midwest, in the USA. We need to pay attention. And when we see these officers that are out there sweating, they're not enjoying these donuts. They're not enjoying the cream puffs. They're not on the rides. They're standing there protecting us. So when you see them, thank them. And be honest about your thanks. The group of, I don't even want to call them men that did that, and then were laughing and calling them names and stuff. Like I said, I just grabbed onto my husband and just pulled my husband back. I'm like, I don't even want to walk with them. I don't want to be any part of what they're saying. I don't want to be affiliated with it. I want to be separate from it. And that's that. Please, please say another prayer for that officer and how lucky he was, because his guardian angels, they protected him. And I'm so happy that he is okay. Well, okay physically, but please pray for his mental recovery. There were 4 suspects taken into custody. I believe one was a teenager, one was a female. And on that note, oh, here's some more whiskey stuff. More whiskey. I think it was Cedar Ridge whiskey was at the Irish Fair. Cedar Core whiskey. They make whiskey there. And then Wisconsin had all the stuff about all of the things that they make there. Cranberries are a huge thing in Wisconsin. Cranberries are so good for you. Now, I love pamphlets. I don't know if you guys know this about me, but there's not a pamphlet that I see that I can walk by. I love the pamphlets. I love them. And let's see here. The obvious is here. Okay, so the binders, the Betty binders. As I started taking on the Katie Joy project, as we will, well, you know what? I actually have a whole new name for it, because you know how hers is without a crystal ball. Well, I found this beauty here at the Dollar Tree for Halloween decor, and look at it. It's so I'm going to rename the Katie Joy series with an LED crystal ball. And then when I'm doing my recordings, when I'm recording the truth about her, I'm going to have this ball. I'm going to put the batteries in it just for you guys. And so it'll be with an LED crystal ball, the Katie Joy series, just for you guys. So that's my my treasure. And as I started taking, because this is what it looks like when it's all fired up. So when I started getting all of the paperwork, all of the stuff from the courtroom, oh man, I needed to put paper holes in it to get it in a binder. I had to do the Betty binders because that's the only way. So I've had this thing that has lasted me, all my life. I can't remember what year, but for all the projects I've done. And I mean, it would not do anything. And I mean, there's so much the Katie Joy has caused. I mean, I cannot believe this one woman menace to the legal system. I'm not kidding you. I've never seen anything like it. So in getting all this stuff, I was, having to sit there and, do this. And the hubster felt really bad for me. So when we were at the Walmart, he bought me this. Might be the nicest gift he's ever gotten me. He got me a new Precision Pro desktop punch. And I was like, no, I'll find one at the Goodwill. Don't do that. Don't buy that for me. Don't do that. So then, as I was trying to keep everything straight for the Katie Joy files, I used the binders that I had, from whatever in my closet, and I needed more. So I went on my quest to go and find some more binders. So I went to the Dollar Tree because freaking binders are expensive. Look at how expensive they are. The next time you're in the store, look at how expensive binders are now. So I went to the Dollar Tree and I got, one like this. There was no way. This is how thick they are. That is not going to do with Katie Joy. So then I didn't know what to do. Because now I have 3 things of the Katie Joy. I have this full, and I have those 2 full. So when I went to the Goodwill outlet, not even the Goodwill, I found these babies. Look at these. Betty be jealous. Because at the Goodwill outlets, you pay per pound. So I got these beauties. Look at these big, thick, beautiful binders. So whoever's out there that I need to cover, you guys are all going to get your own binder, and I've got binders up the gazoo. And if you're good, then the stuff I have to show about you will just fit in this. Okay? Won't be a problem. But you know what? The Katie Joy might end up taking up all my binders here. My God, I didn't even know what to do because there's so much bullshit that she has done. So much. So I had to go back and I had to go all the way back to what she had all done for this case in 2022. Because I had what she's done. Let's see. In here. And I was able to do all of this and look through this because this had, 2023 mainly. But it just wasn't enough. And then, let me see. Okay, I'm not even going to mess with this one. Okay. So when I had everything, I thought I had everything that I was going to do, and it was in here, as y'all know. And then when I went back, because there was more, and this isn't even talking about our other cases. I have those too that I haven't even put in a binder form. I'm just trying to get right now the 7M. So I had this old monthly planner that I didn't finish, just laying around where I'd taken some pages out and stuff, but for the most part it was 2022. So on vacation, this is the one thing I did do business is I took all of this with me. And I was able to sort through and then put in each month, able to put, okay, so what was in May 22, what was in January 22, and lay them all out and organize them in this to be able to put things together in a way that's going to make sense chronologically as to where all of this started with 7M and where we are now, okay? The way that I found was going to make the most sense in all of this is by doing everything as to when it was filed to the court. So all of this was filed 4/5/22, 4/26, okay, 5/18, 5/27/22, and then we go, because there would be a lot filed on a certain day and then not as much. Now I might go through, oh God, I don't even know, because what I was thinking of is then going back through this one with these motions and putting them in to make sure that I don't have duplicates, because this might be some duplicates in there, and see what is duplicated. I mean, it's a mess. I have never seen anything like it. And then I have these over here that I haven't filed yet. I still need to do. Now, I saw that people are concerned because after the hearing, they saw that she went through and she deleted a bunch of stuff. Let her do that. Let her do that. Don't be afraid of that. The other side is very, very astute. I told you that Amber's a freaking badass. It's like Xena Warrior Princess, okay? We've got Xena Warrior Princess against an old, a very much older lady that has a reputation of being there just for the money and okay, how do I say this? Our beautiful Southern Mutton put up the Google reviews of Katie Joy's attorney. Go look at it. Go see what it says. Go to Southern Mutton's thing and see what the Google review is about Katie's attorney, because I think it's accurate. It's a good find. It's a good find. So what I'm going to do in my series with an LED crystal ball of reading everything, we're going to get through all of this. And basically, when I went to the hearing, I could have came out and said, nothing happened. The lawyers needed to go outside and talk to each other, and then they came back, and then something was scheduled for another day and made a 2-minute video, because literally that's all that happened. But I wanted you guys to have everything because you deserve it. So in everything that I said, if you got just that out of it, that literally nothing's happening, that's because it's the truth. That means that everything that she's been saying is a complete lie. That means where she's been saying that people get in trouble for going and listening is bullshit. She's trying to scare people off. That means where she's saying the judge is saying this, the judge is saying that, is complete malarkey. It is as truthful as the sources that she pulls out of her asshole. That what she is gearing people up to think is truly going on is as false as can be. That if you've ever spent any time at all actually observing what happens in a day in court, you know nothing happens. You know the judges don't care. The judges are there to make sure that everything is filed correctly, but they don't do the actual fact-finding, if you will, and they're not going to come down on anybody like she's saying that they are. Now we see that she's down in the Instagram following, I think, almost a third. So people are catching on that she's full of lies and that she goes and finds things that are very unfair about people. And now that we know she's going to do that to me, we know that she is. I've taken risks on my channel. You guys all know that. I have to be okay with that. I had to make some big decisions, and I had to warn my family that this is what I've done. So if some super ugly chick with a weird chin implant that's crooked comes to our door, don't open it. I've had to warn them that, you know what, if we get a knock on the door and it's, you know, the kind of things that they do, to be prepared for it. That I made this decision and I had to take responsibility for that and apologize first to my family and say, hey, look, I've taken these risks. This is my decision. This is what I want to do, because I think that it's very wrong that somebody is perversing the judicial system in the way that they are, and that I've always taken a stand against lies and liars, and that this is a true and natural way in which I live, that I want to continue to live and expose on a bigger scale the truth, because people need to know it. They deserve to know it. And I didn't want people to feel like they had to come out here to see what's going on, to use their money that they've worked hard for, when I can show you that I can do it, and I'm more than willing to share the information, and I'm more than willing to give a good and accurate account of what's truly going on, so that people don't have to put their money there. The role of the subscriber and subscribers is more important than people give it credit for. When people subscribe, they are putting that person into the algorithm. That's why I appreciate my subscribers, and I try to interact with all of you as much as I can. And what you've seen in these last 2 weeks is not how I usually run my channel. I usually am pretty caught up on my emails and my comments, but in these last 2 weeks, I took a huge vacation. So I apologize for that, and I will get back to all of you one at a time. It's important to me that I take time to read each one of your comments. I made a mistake in going against what I stand for in that. There was a video that I did on Michelle, the last Michelle one. And while I was commenting and interacting with all of you that are amazing to me, this one person kept asking stupid questions over and over and over and over and over. Like, when you're trying to get your toddler to go for a nap and they keep pulling at your leg asking questions, blah 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 blah, and you're just like, wait, and finally you just kind of answer them just quickly to just calm them, and that. And I did that a couple of times, and then the questions kept coming and coming and coming, and against my better judgment I answered quickly. And in so doing, that person made a video about me, taking the quick answers that I said and using them against me. One of the parts of the video that I said about Michelle is I said that the channels that have done the clipping, the really good channels that have done the amazing clips, they've worked so hard and they're great. And they do that so that people don't have to, that everybody doesn't have to subscribe, because essentially what you're doing, the clip channels are taking the traffic away from the bad creators. That when a bunch of people are on the highway, it causes congestion, accidents, all kinds of stuff. But then people get on a bus and they save that, and it's better for the streets and everything. Well, same thing goes for the clip channels that look at the problematic channels. That the problematic channels are doing all of the work. And then I said that the clip channels have done such great work with Michelle that they would serve to be subpoenaed when she goes to answer for all of the criminal actions that she has done over and again on her channel. Okay? And in that I said that truthfully, I had not watched a full Michelle thing. That, I have other things to do, and I don't have all of the time in the world to sit there and watch these 12-hour things. I've got things to do. So I appreciated the clip channels for what they had done in there and how well they had that information. So that when I put together all of the things that prove the criminal things that she had been doing, those are there. Well, the person who kept asking stupid questions, I said, oh, I don't know. Somebody told me. I don't know. Yes, it's there. I don't know. Somebody told me this. That person then made a whole video out of me saying that. They took it out and said that I've never even watched a whole Michelle video, and that I only learned things because somebody else said something. And they compared me turning Michelle in to being akin to the woman who faked the kidnapping. They said that I am wasting the government's resources in the same way that the girl who faked the kidnapping is. Because I had never watched a whole Michelle video, and I just depend on other people saying it. So watch what you say around that person. I put up a thing on my community post about what they had done. And it seems like that's the only people who would actually, because I put it there that people went to listen. And so I don't think that people are actually even listening to this asshole creator, because they've been on for like 8 or 9 years. And they have less of a sub count than me. I've been on for over a year. And I had 4 people email me and tell me how disgusted they were and that they unsubbed. So I hope that, helped. But for me to be clowned for that is just a low blow. And I see a lot of you are on her channel and commenting So maybe you haven't listened or you're not seeing what I'm talking about. But I think that in order to have not been a part of what Michelle was doing or contributing to it, it was important for me to gather the information that I needed and put it together professionally. And I know exactly what I'm talking about. I know exactly what government officials to interact with. I'm competent and I've done it too many times before. So for her to say that I did that and I'm wasting the government's resources was something that really didn't sit well with me. It's pretty disgusting to me. And they sat there and said that Michelle deserves everything that she's getting because those are all entitlements and she's entitled to everything that she's got. Well, this same person is known for gaslighting other people and saying that she was a prospective employer of Michelle. So she sat there and had everybody else hand her information. Well, nobody hands me shit. Okay? As you guys can see, I procured all of the documents that I've shown from everything. And I show what I'm talking about. So then to take what I said out of text is disgusting. These are very bad taste in my mouth. And that's exactly how people end up fighting in this community. She came along and she's picked a fight with me and it disgusts me. We don't get anywhere by doing that. What I was saying is how important it is that when you subscribe to a channel, know that you're doing that to increase those numbers. And the problem with Katie Joy and the problem with Michelle is that YouTube can't see that they're problematic because they see that they have an audience. So when you subscribe to somebody just to watch because you're hate watching or whatever, know that you're helping them. You're giving them the views and then they're getting that money. Rather, watch the clip channels that you trust because there are good people who do that. And they're not going to let you miss out on anything. And if you have a question, you ask them or you ask within the community, but save the sub. Don't sub to people unless you truly are watching because you value them. And on that note, I saw somebody on another thing comment about how YouTube creators should not ask for money because they should be getting all of their money from AdSense. And if they don't make enough money on AdSense, then they suck. Their content sucks. And I want to make that clear of how I feel about that. And you guys know that. I'm completely honest with all of you guys on everything. That to date, I have received one check from YouTube for $121. So for all of my work on YouTube, for all of the hours, documents, buying a laptop, every single thing, I have made $121 through YouTube. YouTube takes 30% of the super chats and super thanks, super chats, super thanks, whatever they are. And I thank every single one of you who gave me that because you pushed it to the edge. Because if you don't have a $100 threshold, you don't get a check that month. So the people who pushed me over got me that check. So thank you so much for doing that. The reason why Venmo, PayPal, and Cash App is promoted is because that percentage isn't there. So when you do something like that, it does make a great deal of difference. And it should be done because somebody's earned it or it's in a tip. And that's where, it should be that every creator should be able to say where they accept the money if you feel like giving them a tip, feel like buying coffee. And, my Cash App, just here you go, the dry bagging. My Cash App is Tabitha Jane 13. Has a little picture of my boo-boo cat, just so you know. And I've been so good with my budget that I only buy coffee when it is something that is in my Cash App if there's Cash App money there for me to buy coffee, because then I know that I've earned my coffee from my content and I'm not taking money from my family. So that's there. The way that that creator was talking about, she was asking if it's tacky when creators ask for money. And the problem is that people like Katie Joy is worth $1.2 million on paper, reportedly. Katie Joy makes $400,000 a year. She can only do that because people are hate watching her, because she is making things up. She's not telling the truth. So, well, I make literally 1% of what she makes. She makes that much because people subscribe and they hate watch. So again, when you're watching and you're subscribing just to do that, think about the responsibility that your subscription means. I think that it's reassuring to see how much her numbers have dropped as the truth is coming out. She doesn't have sources. If everything goes to trial with Katie Joy, there's going to be a panel of experts that are going to testify as to what the definition of a reporter is, a journalist is, what journalistic privilege is, because that's going to have to be of paramount importance to find out if indeed what Katie Joy is considered reporting media and protected as such. Because there's going to be people that are going to show that she is not a reporter, that she is not protected. And then we're going to have to look at the question of freedom of speech. And then we're going to have to look at slander and libel. That's going to be a panel of experts on both sides that are going to do that. A judge cannot come through and say this is what this is and this is what this isn't. That cannot be determined by a judge and will not be determined by that judge. That is everything that's going to go to a trial. If indeed it is ruled that A, she is a reporter, has the protection, then she's going to essentially be in a good spot. She has the potential to continue to hurt the whole community by the things that she says. She and tragedy pimps say things that are not true. And then they get the money, they get the support, they get the AdSense. And those of us who are responsible with our content don't. That's not a fair balance. And the only way that can be amended is if you, as a subscriber, recognize your role and how important you are. And you're very important to me. And I love everything that you guys have done for me and how you've all held me up and how you continue to stand with me as we try to find the truth in everything. And the fact that you guys stood by while I was gone for 10 days means everything to me. And I will get back to answering everybody, but I'm a little behind. So I'm sorry about that. But as we go forward into our Katie Joy series, you better hold on, because you're going to find out a lot of stuff. I have not read too much into it because I want to be genuine when I'm reading it. But there's some stuff in there. You're going to be surprised. And I also wanted to clarify that when I said people were laughing because it said her name on the board, doesn't mean that she's well known. Somebody thought that, oh, that shows that people don't like her. No, 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 no. Nobody knows who she is. Nobody cares who she is. She can walk freely. She's nothing. Nobody knows anything about her. No, she can go to any grocery store, any restaurant. Nobody knows anything about YouTube out here in these parts. So, on the reader boards for the hearings for the day, they're all electronic, and they were outside of each courtroom. Well, most of your courtrooms are going to say things like, Bob Johnson and Sarah Smith. They're all very basic Midwestern names. So you have that on everything. And then in the digital screen, the longest name showing was Without a Crystal Ball, LLC. So people were, trying to find which courtroom they needed to go to. And they'd be, pointing, looking for their name, and then they'd see that and they go, Without a Crystal Ball, what? Because it looks like that's somebody's name, because it was there listed for both parties. So, like I say, when I saw somebody commenting that, that shows that she's not liked. No, 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 no. It wasn't like they're like, oh, haha, she's in court here today. Nope. No, no, no. It's just because that was just something really, really unusual for them to see, if you will. So with that, thank you for letting me get you all caught up into my life. And I hope that you have all had a great couple of weeks as well. I didn't check my email or anything, so you guys, I am so behind, but I'm going to get to every one of you. And remember, I found out the hard way that if I'm not mindful in my comments, I'm going to have that troll make a video out of me. So thank you to all of you subscribers, because you guys are the ones with the power. And I hope you yield it well. And thanks a lot for everything. I so appreciate the love that you give me. And I will talk to you guys again soon. Thanks again. Bye-bye.